What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Local Sports Tonight. I'm Ivan Vargas. It has been a wonderful, well, I can't say it's been totally without some hiccups here, but it's been a pretty solid week for me. How was your fourth? I hope it was enjoyable. I was able to enjoy part of it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. There was some I guess you could call it a. I guess you could call it just a little. I'll stick with the same term. You could call it a hiccup in my day, right? So someone else go get the cheese next time. But regardless of that, I hope you enjoyed the fourth. Happy fourth to you guys, belated fourth. Going to go ahead and make sure I talk a lot about this week's Cubs and Sox tonight. It has been very frustrating, like we said before, time and time again, watching this team game in and game out. We'll start with the Cubs. The White Sox, actually, as I'm watching them, are up 3-1 over the Marlins, which is which is a good start. Marlins are a bottom tier team, but anytime the White Sox can scrape together a win, I guess you could call it a blessing. But for me, with the Chicago Cubs, as we looked, and I mentioned it before, they had to get off this week and really start rolling. They had the Phillies without two of their All Stars, former Cub Kyle Schwarber, and of course, Bryce Harper, who is just phenomenal. Regardless of that, they weren't able to pull out the series victory. They ended up losing 2 out of 3 games, but they got the W yesterday on the 4th of July, which is awesome to watch. My whole family was, well, a few of us that were watching it, we were cheering and we were having a good time and enjoying each other's company, and the Cubs win. And they won 10-2 over the Phillies yesterday. But go back to Tuesday and Wednesday, the same old story with the Cubs. Like, when is this offensive funk gonna end? And looking at yesterday's victory, they scored 10 runs. I believe it was one of the first time they scored 10 runs in quite some time, where they actually had a offensive outburst like that. So that's good, but is that a sign of things to come, or are the Cubs breaking out of it? I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. It's easy to beat a team without two All-Stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still had Trey Turner. They're still a very, the best team in the league. It's not saying that the Phillies couldn't get by with, without them, or they couldn't have scraped together a series. But this was an opportunity for the Cubs to really pounce on a top tier team and maybe swing opinions back to the positive for the Chicago Cubs. So again, another missed opportunity for them. Another disappointing series loss. The scores were as follows: Tuesday night was a loss 6-4, Wednesday 5-3, and that, like I'd mentioned before, 10-2 over the Phillies yesterday on the 4th of July. And they also got the victory today. And looking at how Justin Steele had that, I don't want to call it like an emotional outburst, because I think that I think saying it like that makes him seem like he's not in control of his emotions or who he is. But I think it was just when he said what needed to be said that day in Milwaukee, and they ended up getting the victory. I think that was the beginning of the turnaround, if you want to call it. If there is going to be some type of turnaround, you could point to that being one of the points in the season where, if the Cubs go on a run later, you could really credit it to a guy like Justin Steele, who was out there today and was really phenomenal. Justin Steele today His first complete game, he was on fire. Angels only scored one run in the fifth. The Cubs put on 5 runs on 9 hits. They had one error. The Angels had one run on 2 hits, two-hitter for Justin Steele. I think the guy, if he didn't wake himself up, or if he didn't wake his team up, he woke himself up because he was kind of, sluggish, I would say, after that hamstring injury early in the season. He wasn't really as dominant or as he just didn't look like himself. Nonetheless, he just didn't look like himself, which is, it was cause for concern for me. But if Justin Steele could continue this form and could be a vocal leader in the clubhouse and really get guys motivated, maybe the Cubs are ready to turn. Maybe. But for me, I need to see a couple weeks of consistent baseball. I need to see a couple weeks of, putting up 5, 6, runs. Not saying every single game is going to be, a blowout or you're going to put up 10, but a consistent 6, 7. You got timely hitting. You finally, figure out what the hell has been going on with runners in scoring position, which has been a nightmare for the Cubs during their funk. During this funk, I guess you could say from the start of May to, what we'll say present day until right now, even though they got the win, unless they go on like a 4 or 5 game winning streak, I won't say that they've broken out of this slumber that they've been in. They haven't woken up yet, but we'll see. The weekend is promising. The Angels are, not a world beater. They're a professional team, which you have to take very serious in Major League Baseball. But we'll see if the Cubs can go ahead and scrape together now that they've gotten the series opener against the Angels. They've taken that. Let's see if they could go ahead and get a series sweep. I feel like the Angels are one of those teams that might be a perfect setup for the Cubs to where they break out and really get going. But we'll see. I'm going to be there tomorrow, no doubt. I'll be there tomorrow enjoying the game. Hopefully there's no rain. Hopefully I haven't even checked the forecast. Let me go look at that actually right now. I know they have Kyle Hendricks pitching tomorrow, and I was hoping for somebody else. Here we go. I'm going to go with my buddy Josh. He says that it's going to be a Justin Steele bobblehead. Got to get it now. I talked him up this much. I got to go ahead. We got to be there early. Yeah, it's Justin Steele bobblehead tomorrow. I'm pumped. Exciting to see the Cubs kind of beat the crap out of a really good team in Philadelphia on the 4th of July. It was enjoyable. But like I said, the series was lost when you had opportunities to beat. Granted, they were out without 2 of their best, hitters. You had an opportunity to be a top-tier team, and you failed to do that. Now, like I said, take care of business now. I feel like the Cubs are good enough to where they could sweep the Angels. Like, I don't know what the hell has been this offensive funk, but they're good enough to beat this team on paper. But they gotta prove it out on the field, and let's just hope that tomorrow brings the same type of energy and the same type of consistency at the plate that the Cubs have been showing in the last few games. Ian Happ, to his credit, was a monster on the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Like, that's pretty much what it was. 2 big bombs, 2 3-run home runs. one to bring the Cubs uh, to get the Cubs a lead, and the other to really put the Cubs out of it, or put the the Phillies out of it. And it was very impressive. I was very happy with Ian Happ. Hopefully, he can continue this pace, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Happ. Watching the replay right now. Oh, I had the see this froze, I guess, for the Sox game. I was going to go ahead and give you guys the update. Still 3-1. White Sox over the Marlins. And, looking at it like this, if you're a White Sox fan, as I transition, you got to be happy with just, whatever positive I feel like you got to be happy with, right? But when there's a negative, and it's a negative to where one of your supposed best players is involved, it could really bring it down, right? And I'm talking about Monday's loss, and there's going to be some pushback, I'm sure. But Monday's loss to the Cleveland Indie Guardians, it was just very frustrating, even for me, and I'm not a White Sox fan, right? Luis Robert, and the game is, regardless of how far the ball was, right? Regardless of how far the ball was, I feel like where you are as a baseball team, as bad as it's been, you can't have a guy that's your supposed star just pull up lame like Luis Robert did on Monday night. And it doesn't matter. I don't care if he wasn't going to throw him out. I don't give a shit. You need to get around that ball. You need to get behind it, get around it, and come up firing, regardless. It just gives some type of, for me, that would show some type of momentum, right? That would show some type of, hey, we're still in it. Like, I'm still in it. I still care. I don't know. There's been so many like weird lackadaisical Luis Robert plays, as I just watched Paul DeYoung miss a ground ball. Very frustrating. Very frustrating for Luis Robert. Very frustrating for White Sox fans. And like I said, this is not me talking shit. Like, this is for real. There's got to be some show of life. And if Luis Robert is just playing it through, like playing it out, coasting, showboating it, then like I'd mentioned before, he has to go. He has to go. The big thing is his bat. Like, you're worried, like if that's what you're worried about, then I don't think you're looking as deep into this guy and his performance than you should. Because it's just been very, like I said, consistently frustrating. He's a guy that injury prone, even though he's, like I said, he's built. He looks, he's an athlete. He could run. I mean, a Pantera, dude. Like, it's real. Like, he could fly. He could move. He's athletic. He's strong. He's injury prone. And it's also shown that he's not really like a leader. And it's also now, like I'm saying, is he just taking plays off? Does he, his judgment is like, oh, it's over. I'm not going to make a throw. Like, to me, you have to give your effort here, especially with this team. You have to give max effort, especially with this team, because now people are going to look at you like, do you give a fuck? Like, do you care? Luis Robert might not be on this team come the All Star break, but we'll see. Michael Kopech, another guy that might not be there. There's a few guys on this White Sox team that may be on the move come the trade deadline. And it's damn near Chris Getz's obligation to go ahead and move some of these guys. You have to give yourself the opportunity to maximize the potential in the youth movement that I believe you're going to be headed into. Now, if that's not where, like, if for whatever reason the White Sox don't sell off of quite a few players at the deadline, then it just raises even more questions. And to be honest, it would probably sink White Sox fans, probably. Like I said, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm talking shit because at this point I'm not. I'm like, really, like, what the hell is going on? But I would say that it'd be so dejecting. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing anything to further push this into a direction that your fan base can believe in. And I don't think right now the fan base believes in them whatsoever. Now, this is going to be a quicker show because I'm dog tired. Long day out there. Heat was brutal. Sun was brutal. Everybody in my family was impressed with this tan that I have. So it's probably the only positive I could say right now about working out there in that heat. But nonetheless, so switching over to the WNBA, Chicago Sky. Angel Reese will be on the All-Star team. Good for her. Congratulations to her. I wouldn't I wouldn't imagine them not adding multiple rookies. Like it was clear that she has stepped up her game with the Sky. Like there are people that are pointing certain things out, certain aspects of her game that need to be fixed. But nonetheless, she's been like pretty much the Sky's best player in my eyes. Like, I don't know, maybe Cardozo could come alive and take off. I know she was injured, but we'll see. But now there's a question like, how is the dynamic of her and Caitlin Clark gonna work? I think it'll work fine. Like if you're in an All-Star game, you're a WNBA All-Star game. You got all the best players with you. You're the only two rookies to show up. Like, I'll say this: either the veteran women are gonna bully the shit out of you, and like possibly, hopefully not. Like, but I could see it. Maybe some of them will, ice you out. Maybe. But it could end up being a very entertaining thing when it comes down to it, because maybe you could have these two rookies, both from the East, go ahead and actually affect who wins this WNBA All-Star game. And I know it's like, we're talking about, it's we're talking about this rivalry too. Like it's always going to be talked about. Like we can't ever get around this. Like because this is, and people are gonna, somebody would scoff, but like this is their Jordan. I mean, excuse me. This the WNBA's, Burden Magic type of deal. This is a rivalry that I think can benefit this league. And in this All-Star game, with them two being the only two rookies on the same team, if they could work together and, possibly like have an effect on the game, it's just going to thicken the plot in a sense, right? It's just going to make them make that rivalry post NBA All-Star game even better, because it's going to come down to it. Both teams are, let's go ahead and check out WNBA standings. See, both teams, Sky is sitting there at 8 and the Fever at 9. So the Fever are 13, or excuse me, Fever are 8 and 13. The Sky are 7 and 11. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. I don't think there's going to be any type of issue during the All-Star game, right? I don't think that's going to be a big deal. I think they'll end up working together, because you gotta also look at it like this. There's veterans out there that are, like I mentioned before, that might ice you out. There's veterans out there that are gonna probably take this as serious. I think this might be one of the more entertaining and maybe one of the more physical All-Star games, if I could say that. Like I quite honestly, I've seen a few WNBA games, haven't seen the All-Star game, but maybe this one gets a little emotional because of the two rookies out there, and all eyes on them, all eyes on Caitlin Clark, all eyes on Angel Reese. Maybe it draws some animosity, and there's a good, I would say a good confrontational battle, in an All-Star game, because everybody's going to want to show out. Like Caitlin Clark, we know about her already, the NIL deals, the publicity, the fame. There's going to be women out there that are going to want to show out, especially when she gets in the game and when Angel gets in the game as well. So, again, congratulations to Angel Reese, All-Star. Moving further along, like I said, I'm going to shorten this one up today. Going to bounce back to baseball for a second. Looking at the trade deadline again for the Cubs, you got to imagine if they're able to move a piece and open up some spots for some of these younger guys to come up, maybe you'll start to see more of a positive direction. And this is what I'm saying. You move somebody that's struggling. You gain. Let's say you go ahead and go after pitching, right? Bullpen pitching. Yeah, you might have lost, right? But you're really gaining something for the positive. And right now, I just don't know who you're going to move for the Cubs. Like, it could be Nico. Dansby ain't going anywhere with that contract. Cody Bellinger could be a guy that's on the move. So, looking at it right now, I would say the Cubs, in my opinion, will move a player. I could see Cody going. Like, I'll say it just like that. I could see Cody Bellinger being traded because of the deal he signed. He's only got 2 years. He's not here for the long haul. I think Cody is a guy that could be on the move for sure. So you move Cody, you gain some bullpen arms. possibly, another player. But you need to figure out something going down the stretch. And I know they've been talking about getting healthy and, you know, getting, I guess, back on track after that. But, this bullpen hasn't, even when healthy, 100%, right? Even when 100% healthy, this bullpen isn't it, right? Like it has never really given you the confidence that they're going to go ahead and it's going to be lights out. That this 1-2 run lead is going to be shut down, right? They've never given me that confidence from the beginning of the season. So, like this notion that, oh, we have to get healthy in the bullpen, I just feel like it's just a talking point that they conjured up and they're just giving, spewing it to you because they want you, oh, yeah, that's right. They want you to remember, oh, yeah, that's right. We do have a couple injuries in the bullpen. But what I want you to remember is from game one, there's been issues. Like from the first series, there's been issues with this bullpen. So for them to kind of continue to say, oh, we just got to get healthy. We just got to get healthy. Were they not healthy to start? Were they not healthy to start? Because I'm telling you what, even in April, with the Cubs winning and the Cubs being successful, the bullpen was garbage and questionable. Questionable at best, garbage at worst. Like, and it's just continued to really not give me a sense of security, right? Regardless of the last, today, obviously you got a masterful performance by Justin Steele. 2 hits, complete game, on fire, 1 run, on fire. So we'll see how things go. I'm looking forward to getting past the All-Star break so we can start really finding, like getting the answers to these questions with the Chicago Cubs. The White Sox, like I said, I mentioned the White Sox, like the Sox, they need to go ahead and move people now. Start accumulate, because there's going to be people that need a guy like a Michael Kopech. Even though Michael Kopech hasn't had a great year, maybe Michael Kopech needs a change of scenery. Maybe a Luis Robert needs a change of scenery. The White Sox are clear as day what they need to do. The Cubs, on the other hand, it all depends. Like, are you going to go into the All-Star break with these next few games, limping? Or are you going to put together some type of mini run here to get folks thinking, hey, maybe the Cubs can put together a run? Like I said, you got the Angels tomorrow and Sunday. The Orioles come to town, or excuse me, we go to Baltimore Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we're in St. Louis for a 4-game set right before the All-Star break. Now, a 4-game set with St. Louis, that will be the marker. That will be the marker. Hakatua! What's up, HD? That will be the marker. The Cardinals are right now, the Cardinals are a better ball club. 45-41. Cubs sit at 41-48. This is a tight race. In granted, the Milwaukee Brewers, they're just, they're the tops right now. 52-36. Cardinals are 6 games back. Cubs are 11.5. But again, there's an opportunity for the Cubs to get back in the wild card picture. Now, again, addition by subtraction, maybe that helps. Like I said, maybe there's a spot that frees up for a guy if you move somebody and then obviously you're hoping to gain. In my opinion, you're looking to gain another bullpen arm or two. Like it needs to be that urgent. Like in my opinion, Cubs come to KC at the end of July. Ooh, I have to take. Does the Metro run down there? Does the Metro get to KC? Well, it's the Cubs, HC. That's why. Like how many times do the Cubs go down to Kauffman Stadium? And isn't Kauffman Stadium going to be gone soon? So it's like probably one of the last times they'll ever be there playing the Cubs. Like, yeah, I would gouge tickets. I mean, I would like, hey man, or ticket prices. I'd be like, hey, why not? You're going to see the Cubs. Like, have you ever seen the Cubs? No, come on down. We got it, but for this. But yeah, again, Cubs. It's going to be an interesting second half, a very interesting second half. Not going to say they're going to go ahead and overcome an 11 and a half game setback, 11 and a half game hole, but stranger things have happened, and the Cubs don't need to really focus on 11 and a half games. They just need to focus on getting back into the wild card picture. Right now, like I said, St. Louis is sitting there. You got San Diego and you have Atlanta. So there's an opportunity there. You're chasing the Cardinals. Once again, a 4-game set in St. Louis. Time to net up or shut up. You will be tested. This is a time to fucking go moment for the Cubs, in my opinion. So let's see. They have to get through the Orioles. Again, another great team. Going to be tough. Will be interesting. 5:30 games, all 3 of them, over in Baltimore. Then you got the Friday night game next week against St. Louis, 7:00. Got the doubleheader on Saturday, 1:15 and 7:15. And then Sunday will be a 1:15 start in St. Louis. And then the Derby, the home run Derby, will be Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time. So good thing that they're going to go ahead and run into this little mini break and get rested up a little bit. But they got to fucking take care of business. There's still games to be played, and you still have an opportunity to gain some ground. Like, there cannot be a pack it in type of mentality in that club. I know it's not in Justin Steele. We know Justin Steele isn't trying to fucking pack it in and call it a fucking year. So there needs to be that type of mentality, that type of sense of urgency reeking in that clubhouse for this to turn around. Like, you have to have that type of angst. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take off. HG, I appreciate you. Cubs are the most frustrating team. And like, I would say I want to quit watching them, but I just feel like something, like, I want to believe in this team, and I feel like there is an opportunity, but they need to take care of business right now. Like I said, Baltimore is Baltimore. They should sweep the Angels. Focus, my main focus, my big test a week from now, next weekend, against the St. Louis Cardinals. So anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go ahead and have a couple more beers. Watch this White Sox, and now you got the Sox up 3-1 still in the bottom of the ninth, actually. Let me stay right here. Something's brewing. Might be bad for the Sox. You got, Jazz Chisholm just hit a single up the middle. There's a runner on first and third for the Marlins. There's 2 outs. I think it's Gurriel at the plate. And another base hit. The Marlins are now only down by 1. It's now 3-2. Man on first and second. De La Cruz with a nice line drive into left field. It's one of those days. Like I said, it's very frustrating to be a Sox fan. Not gonna lie to you. I wish that I will never have that feeling again. Like I hope I would never have that feeling again. And there's that might be it right there. And the Sox are gonna escape Miami with the victory, 3-2 as Josh Bell grounded out the first, the flip over to Kopech, and that is the game. All right, guys, I'm out now for real. I will see you guys later Monday night. I'll be back talking about the weekend, talking about more baseball, and see maybe there's some breaking news. Maybe there's a surprise with Bears camp or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe we sign somebody. Maybe we figure out this center position. But nonetheless, anyway, I'm out of here. Peace.